We're here to celebrate the greatest who's ever wore the purple and gold. We are so blessed to have had this man wear the purple and gold for 20 years, and he was all about excellence. He was driven. His will to win was very, very high. And tonight, we're able to put not just one of his jerseys, but both of his jerseys up high. I hope that you recorded every game. I hope that you're doing the same thing tonight, because there will never, ever be another Kobe Bryant.
Dog after you, Fred.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
It's a good thing.
Thank you, Fred.
San Antonio getting set for the Raptors and Spurs, with tip-off set to go in about 35 minutes time. As we come inside the AT&T Center, Eric Smith and Sherman Hamilton with you. And folks, the Raptors and Spurs take a backseat right now to a story that has been developing over the course of the last 30 to 60 minutes. We are all finding out at the same time that many of you are. The news that came around 1 o'clock Eastern today, a helicopter crash in Southern California with 5 people on board, and according to multiple reports, ESPN, CNN, and many others, Kobe Bryant, one of the 5 who has died in that helicopter crash in California.
First word that comes to mind is devastation. I stand here, like you, like Sherm, like Matt, like Leo, and all of our colleagues and the people in this arena, almost numb. We were standing in the back with Nick Nurse when the news broke, and it has an impact here in the arena as well. Both locker rooms immediately were shut down. We could not get into them to actually talk to the players because it was unconfirmed at the time when we were thinking about going to air with it. Everybody was waiting.
Obviously, we were all in shock, kind of not wanting to believe the stuff we were reading and what everything was telling us. Everyone was trying to, find confirmation because no one wanted to believe what was going on.
I mean, it was a really rough locker room prior to the game, right? There's, it's just a lot of guys that had hit, pretty close to home, and obviously one of the biggest stars in the game, right? You don't know what to say. I've never gone through anything like that. It's not something you get to hope, and thank God you don't have to, you go through stuff like this very often. But we just kind of said, let's go and see what happens. We didn't really know. I didn't really want to, it certainly wasn't a high energy place before the game. We were just trying to go out there and the ball's going up here in a little bit, and we got to see where we're at with it.
how do you put into words what has developed here today in the basketball community and the players coming out, acknowledging each other? And initially when DeMar DeRozan and Kyle, along with Fred VanVleet and Norman Powell and Rudy Gay and Pascal Siakam, there wasn't much exchange as far as words. It was just looks, and then the words started to come, and you can tell there's an emptiness now here in this building. It is surreal.
How do you compete? That's a great question, because these guys, a lot of players are devastated. He's had a tremendous impact on a lot of the young generation of the NBA, and you talk about his peers, he's got so much respect from everybody.
And with heavy hearts, the Toronto Raptors and the San Antonio Spurs will meet.
We talked about it right before tip-off, what we were going to do. You know, we can't do much, but I think just honoring him and representing what he stood for and what he stands for is how you honor his legacy and the type of guy he was. You know, just prayers out to his family and friends and everybody else going through a tough time, man. It's tough.
And the Toronto Raptors going to dribble it up. There's a 24-second shot clock. And of course, Kobe Bryant wore number 24. And I wonder if that is what is happening in honor of him. 24-second shot clock expires.
He said something to me like right before we went out. So Coach Nurse, he said something to me. He asked me about it, and I said, sure. I think, you know, it's the least we could do. I think he talked to Pop, and they talked about it, and they did it then. And so we proceeded with the game after they took theirs. So
Greg Popovich, and he's going to now point to Murray. He's going to dribble it out. Fans on their feet here in San Antonio, acknowledging the greatness of Kobe Bryant.
not that amounts to anything, but just you try to show your respects as best you can. I think if it was any earlier, I don't know if we would have played that game, but we ended up out there, so we wanted to try to be as professional as possible.
To begin this game, 2:24-second shot clock violations. Of course, the number 24.
I think that both teams got lost in the game. You know, it probably took me, usually when the ball goes up, I'm usually pretty good. It took me maybe 8 or 9 minutes to kind of, you know, I don't know, I was just trying to be supportive to everybody that was out there, from the players to the table to the refs to everything, and then you kind of do lose yourself in the game.
Devastating news of the passing of Kobe Bryant. And the game goes on. And the game started with 2:24-second violations, one by each team. Pascal Siakam knocks it down. Pascal guarded by the length of Rudy Gay in the three, the pull-up, and feeling it here early on. Fred in the paint on a kick-out, and the corner three is good. And the most points in a quarter for a Raptor, 23 by Pascal.
Resilient group of guys. Like that's what, you know, that's one thing I told them after the game. In my year and a half here, they've amazed me a lot of times, and today was certainly a time they amazed me with their resiliency and professionalism and just what they can do out there on the floor.
See if the Raptors can take advantage of it. Mark ties it up. Big bucket. 97-97. Driving. Double. Three. Steady Freddy. 108-105.
Thought that everyone did a tremendous job of stepping up and trying to put, you know, everything together. But at the same time, it was you think about, you know, his family and his friends and the situation that they're going through. So you just want to go home and kind of kiss your kids and your wife, and you know the rest is just irrelevant right now.
And the Toronto Raptors come away with their first win. First win here since 2007, and that ends a 10-game losing skid to the San Antonio Spurs. They've won 7 in a row, have the Toronto Raptors, and all that is overshadowed by the devastating news that we learned along with you. And Kobe Bryant, his daughter Gianna, and a total of 9 were lost today in a helicopter crash in Calabasas, California.
It was there the whole time. You know, it was pretty tough to go out there and focus, you know. It was a tough one. It was a tough game. Go out there and play after hearing news like that. And that was a tough one. Just to try to focus on something that we really didn't care about at the moment. I don't think anybody was that interested in the game. But we got a job to do. I think both teams did a good job going out there and performing, and you know, we were able to get the win. So move on, and we'll console each other, and you know, be together as a family. And I think the world is kind of dealing with this one together.
We are all in shock. We should, you know, cherish how lucky we are sometimes, and we get so deep in our jobs, in our profession, about, you know, contracts, points, minutes, all-stars, whatever, that you kind of forget what's really important in life, and how can all be gone in just, you know, an accident. And so to me, it's all, I just want to get home and kiss my kids.
To Toronto. It's still very fresh, very raw. 2 days ago, basketball world, the world lost an icon in Kobe Bryant, his young daughter Gigi, 7 others in a tragic helicopter crash. Basketball world continues to mourn. The games will go on, including one here tonight, the Atlanta Hawks against the Toronto Raptors. And coincidence or not, that the Toronto Raptors could run their win streak to 8 here tonight.
Mentality of, you know, being an ultimate competitor, grinding, working day in and day out, sacrificing a lot of things, you know, to get to where you want to be. You know, I tried to implement that in my game. It's the way I go about basketball life, competing, working to be the best, maximizing the God-given abilities, just like you did.
Michael Jordan was so unique in the way they approached the game, the way they prepared for the game, how hard they work. I mean, those guys was mirror of each other in a sense. His work ethic was off the charts.
Everyone has a work ethic. Yeah, I think the difference is taking it to another level. And as he says himself, that there's a passion and there's an obsession. You know, and I think he had the obsession. There's no question. Every single day, he brought it every day. First in the gym, you know, no question about that. Hardest worker. Everything done at what he would call game speed. Everything done with a purpose. Everything he did was a pursuit of perfection.
His competitiveness, and people think that is something that is only valuable on the court or between the lines or in an athletic arena, and it's not. It gives you the basic drive for life, ambition, you know, achieving, like, and that's a great quality to have. I mean, he was competitive and competitively driven to a point where I'm sure people at times looked at him and said, "Hey man, take it easy, it's just a game." But to people like that, it's not just a game.
Brothers, leave it all out there. Every night, every single night, we leave it all out there. I know what this game means to us. We just got to go out there and play it. Play it with the love and the passion that we all grew up playing. 1 on 3. 1, 2, 3.
That'll be different.
Staples Center, the City of Angels. The Toronto Raptors road swing continues with a visit to Kobe Bryant and the Lake Show. Bryant averaging over 40 points per game over his last 9 contests. Toronto and Los Angeles.
The Lakers are down. Remember, they're going to make a run in the second half, so the bigger cushion you can provide yourself. Kobe finally getting one.
That's a frustration, Duncan.
The crazy thing about that was that the Raptors had complete control of that game. Kobe had good numbers in the half, but nobody else did anything. So it was one of those, okay, if he scores 50 and nobody else does anything, you win the game.
Points here in the third. His pass deflected. It's loose. Kobe Bryant outraces Kobe. And there's 51 for Kobe Bryant.
And he put his team on his shoulders and absolutely has carried them to this point.
Bryant splits the defense, the 15-footer. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
I believe at one juncture in the game, Kobe had 25 or 30 points, and the Lakers were still down 10 or 15. So he had 55 in the second half, and he needed every one of those 81 for the Lakers to win the game.
Kobe again for 3. Got Bryant with a pull-up 3. You got to be kidding me.
Like, this is incredible. And I turned it, I was doing the game with Eric Smith. I said,
I think he's going to get 60
tonight.
Here's Bryant in the paint, the soft touch, 61.
And then we looked and we said, no, he's going for 70.
Who are they looking for? Number 8. Kobe wants it. He can feel it. Working on Peterson. Double pump. Got it. You are looking at greatness tonight in Los Angeles. 72 points for Kobe Bryant.
It was ridiculous. It was absolutely ridiculous. And it was hard to not be a fan, to not sit there and just want to, hey man, I just want to watch this. I don't even want to call the game. I just want to take the headset off and just watch and enjoy.
I'm calling the game and I'm trying to be objective, but then that objectivity goes out the window when you realize you're calling history. This is a moment that will live in the history of the NBA, the second highest scoring game ever.
Remarkable, outstanding, spectacular.
Chuck, did you ever think you'd see a player in any one of our games put up 80 points? 81.
If somebody told me we'd be in the house tonight watching Kobe Bryant with 81.
The words, the tears, everything has been flowing, cascading. I'm still reeling as well. I still find it hard to believe that Kobe's gone, and such a horrible ending for him and his lovely daughter Gigi and all the other people that were lost. So this is a difficult time, but you know, we're looking at a game right now, right? And that's the way you get away from a lot of hurt and a lot of pain if you're a player.
The reason why I wear 24 is because of Kobe, you know. So whatever it takes to honor him, you know, one of the greatest to ever do it. So if they want to retire with 24, I'll find a new number, go to 8, go to something, but find a way to relate back to the Kobe somehow, somewhere.
Bryant for 3.
Miss him as a person. I mean, his game spoke for itself. One of the greatest to ever do this, and you'll never see another guy like Kobe. Not in my lifetime, I don't believe. Just hard to talk about because I have so much respect for him, the friend. We always had little nice conversations, and the last thing I remember from him is a week and a half ago, when I saw him in New York with him and his daughter. And he's praising me and talking about my career to his daughter. And that's the thing I remember most. It's sad. It don't make sense, you know? We're gonna miss him. We're gonna miss him.
He did all he could in basketball. He stepped away, and now he was ready for the next chapter. The guy had already won an Academy Award. He was writing children's books. He was throwing himself into being a father. And look, I'll say this, nobody's perfect. You just have to try to be perfect. And I think that's what this guy did more than anything else.
I hope that tonight is not, you know, you guys know that, you know, if you do the work, you work hard enough, dreams come true. You know that, we all know that. But hopefully what you get from tonight is the understanding that those times when you get up early and you work hard, those times when you stay up late and you work hard, those times when you don't feel like working, you're too tired, you don't want to push yourself, but you do it anyway. That is actually the dream. That's the dream. It's not the destination, it's the journey. And if you guys can understand that, then what you'll see happen is that you won't accomplish your dreams. Your dreams won't come true. Something greater will. And if you guys can understand that, then I'm doing my job as a father. Thank you guys so much. I love you. Mamba out.